Grand rising, grand arrival, grand return. Peace and blessings to the righteous and the repentant alike. I am Chief Sophia of the AmaruKhan Band of Indians, and I haven't been on screen in a long time. And the only reason I'm on screen right now is because I got some downloads from Hera that um, I need to put all in one place because we're allegedly in the age of Aquarius, right? Okay, which would be the age of Hera. And I may have, probably more than likely, made her very upset when I said we're not in the age of Aquarius. We're actually in the age of Leo, which is Apollo. And so, not because I was intentionally trying to offend Hera and the Temple of Aquarius. That wasn't it. It was just because the way that these people calculate these ages doesn't seem to be right. And so I can't make that like right. I can't make that right. But what I can say is it was not in a way to be disrespectful to the Temple of Aquarius or to Hera, but it is just that it seems to be that they do their calculations wrong. So I'm not even saying that what I say, or my position is wrong. At this point, I have no idea because Pluto is in Aquarius. So we are in an age, a time period that's being ruled by Aquarius. That is a fact. Pluto is also out of bounds, and it's going to be out of bounds for the next 10 years. So, Aquarius, or the Temple of Hera, or the Temple of Aquarius, where Hera resides, is what is going to be forcing this change that needs to happen. She is going to be guiding it. So, as a result of that, we have to approach this era a little bit differently than I had originally discussed. And so, what does that mean? What am I trying to say? We have to look very carefully at who Hera is. Now, I uploaded a video about the Temple of Aquarius where we talked about Hera, and obviously that's just a beginning video. We are going to get to know Hera very, very well over the next however many years, a long time, because Pluto is in Aquarius. So this is not this is just where we're going, okay? And so I say all that to say this. Hera does not operate the way the rest of the zodiac operates. The rest of the Olympians operate. That's not how Hera don't operate like that, okay? And so if you are a person who has a lot of Aquarius in your chart, now my Aquarius in particular is where my Jupiter is, and it's in retrograde. And so we have a huge I personally have a huge problem because Jupiter is ruled by Zeus, right? That's his energy, the Sagittarius Jupiter energy, okay? But the problem, the battle between Hera and Zeus is that even though they were married, right? She is the goddess of marriage, the protector of marriage. Zeus was always out philandering, okay? Same thing we say about our men. Like, sometimes they're always out philandering, being with all these different women, entertaining all this different stuff. Meanwhile, you had done all this stuff to get me in the first place, right? And so how do we rectify this problem? This is an ongoing problem. I just feel like the sooner that we can bring some kind of an understanding, some kind of a resolution, some time of something to this situation, it will be resolved earlier. So particularly the people and the reason why it's such a big issue right now, because Jupiter, the planet, is in Cancer. Now, Cancer, as I mentioned, is ruled by Artemis. And Artemis, there's a huge problem because Hera did not like Artemis. And in the Trojan War, Hera, good morning. In the Trojan War, Hera and Artemis got into a huge battle. It was a big, giant fight, right? And the battle that they got into, Hera mollywopped her. Like Hera beat Artemis with her own weapons. Like took her weapons from her and beat her with them. And so Zeus, and then what happened after that was Artemis was so, distraught. She went to her father, who was Zeus, and, wept at his feet. So we have Zeus as Jupiter in the house of Cancer, which is Artemis, which is basically the daughter being consoled by her father. And that's fine and well, except for, again, we're all in Aquarius right now. Pluto's in Aquarius. And this is not good for people, like I said, like myself, who have their native Jupiter in Aquarius or whatever planets. It could be your sun. It could be anything. This is not good for us people who have Aquarius placements, personal, like in our chart placements, because Hera doesn't like Artemis. Zeus is a philanderer. Like this is very disturbing. So I went back and looked at some of the mythology. Well, let me go back to this. Hera does not like Artemis. Hera does not like Apollo either, because she wanted her son, who is Aries, to be the most favorite child of Zeus. But what happened was Zeus loved Apollo. So you have another set of these Bible stories playing out again, because what happened with Cain and Abel? I just keep going back to Cain and Abel. Like I just keep going back to Cain and Abel, because what happened with Cain and Abel? Adam told them both to make a sacrifice, and whichever ones the gods liked most, that's the one who would get what they wanted. And what they wanted was depending on who was going to marry who, right? This is all about this whole marriage thing. So even though Cain's sacrifice was a more labor intensive sacrifice, right? Abel's sacrifice is the one that the gods preferred. And the reason why the gods preferred the sacrifice from Abel is because it was fat, and they used the fat from the animals to light their light. So that energy of lighting the light, hearth and home and all that stuff, is represented by Hestia, which is quote unquote the age of Capricorn. Pluto just came out of Capricorn. So now you can see how this thing is like showing up, and it continues to show up until we figure out how to resolve it, which again, I'm not saying that I have a complete answer, but I want to just explain. Oh, I don't have my notebook. All right, hold on. Okay, I had to grab my notebook. So we're talking about Aquarius, and we're talking about Pluto coming out of Capricorn, where the gods accepted the sacrifice of Abel instead of Cain, and now going into Aquarius, where Hera wants Aries to be the favorite child of Zeus, but that's not what happens. So this is why I think that Cain is affiliated with Aries energy, because what ended up happening was Cain ended up getting what he shed blood. Okay, so that automatically puts him in Aries energy. Even though it wasn't offensive, we don't know if it. Take that back. We don't know if it was offensive or not. I had theorized a few weeks ago that the reason why Cain took Abel out was because of Cain's behavior and how he was acting about the whole thing. I theorized that. And so this is kind of adding to the theory that perhaps Abel was taken out because of his behavior and he was going too far. He was doing too much, which caused Cain to become more aggressive with him than he would have typically done, right? So, but we're trying to figure out how to I don't know, even out this Aquarius energy, okay? With Hera. Now, when I was looking in the mythology, the only time that Hera was calmed, well, first of all, Apollo did end up calming her from her anger. And so she wasn't angry at them anymore. This happened all the time. She would rage out, like rage out, and then someone would take the specific action to calm her anger. And so we're trying to figure out, we have to get to the root of the problem though, right? So I did another chart, which we're not even done with the temple of Aquarius from the Olympic spirits, but there are Olympic gods, but there's another set of temples that's older than the Olympians temples, which are the temples of the Titans. And we're going to have to do, again, a whole nother separate video on that because I'm going to have to explain this in a totally different way. But the Titans are the primordial manifestation of the energy. And in the case of Hera, the primordial manifestation is Electra. And Electra is a nymph, an Oceanid, a nymph. She was affiliated with Libra, who was run by a god named Thaumaterga, who was a wind god. And so the story about Electra, her and also the Taurus deity, which is called Amphrite. The story about Electra is that basically she was a queen too. Like, she was a queen in her own right before she got with Thaumaterga, but it was a lot of them. Okay, there was a number that couldn't be counted, like hundreds of thousands of these particular Oceanid nymphs. Okay, and so I get the feeling that because what we have to do is we have the Temple of the Titans, right? We have the temple, which is the primordial manifestation of the energy. We have the Temple of the Olympians, which is the fixed manifestation of the energy. And then we have the Temple of us. We are individual temples, which is the mutable the mutable energy. Oh, they are? I'm going to turn them off. They shouldn't be. Which is the mutable energy and is the herald of change. Okay, it is the energy that can take these fixed and cardinal energies and integrate them. So we have to talk about fixed signs, cardinal signs. It's not the way that they describe it. It makes absolutely no sense. Okay, so that being said, we have Electra, who is a nymph, as the primordial manifestation of Hera, who is the goddess of queen of the gods, protector of marriage, and her messenger is Iris, the eyes. And so it feels like the way to neutralize that energy is to acknowledge Hera as the queen. She is the queen mother. She is the one who is, especially right now with Pluto and Aquarius directing the show, she has her eyes, Iris, out trying to make sure that things are being done to her satisfaction. And so this is not a time to pretend as if the divine feminine is not the one who's running the show. We're not in Sagittarius energy. We're not in Capricorn energy. We are in Aquarius energy, simply for the fact that the Pluto is an Aquarius. Now, I don't know how all the other people get their ages. I'm not getting into all of that. And you don't balance out Aquarius energy with Leo energy. That's another thing that I got wrong. That's not how it works. You balance out Aquarius energy with the fixed manifestation of the energy, which that's what the Olympians are, the fixed manifestation of the energy, with the primordial manifestation of the energy. So you don't solve, okay, they always say you solve a problem with like, what is that, Newton's law of physics? Every problem has an equal and opposite counter problem, or whatever that saying is, like equal and opposite. That's not how you solve the problem. You solve the problem of who you are today by going into your past and seeing who you were in the past, what happened in the past, and rectifying that. Okay, so the way that these people do stuff is totally wrong. Shadow work is good, right? I know I never tell people that shadow work is bad, but shadow work is only as good as the fixed manifestation of the energy. So like if you're not in the fixed manifestation of the energy, then you can never understand the original manifestation, the primordial manifestation of the energy. You have to be solid in who you are now before you can go back and work on who you were in the past. What a lot of people try to do is say, oh, let me work on who I was before, and then I'll come back and work on who I am now. It doesn't work like that. You have to be a solid person first, like in your current state, stable, steady, emotionally developed and all that stuff now, before you try to go back and fix who you were in the past, right? So we can't even deal with Electra energy until we understand Hera energy. And Hera energy is, she is in charge right now. So this is why I will no longer be saying we're in the age of Leo. I have to retract that statement and retract the whole energy, because we were reading the energy wrong. Okay, I was reading the energy wrong. I was wrong, okay? And I'm okay. It's no big deal, but I have to make sure that Hera understands that I understand we're in her energy right now. Hera is not the dark mother. Like, that's a whole thing. That dark mother energy is like not the proper manifestation of her energy, because Aquarius energy is mutable. It's an energy that will change its mind. And so that's not, the dark mother is not, it's not a mutable energy. It's a fixed energy. And so the fixed version of Aquarius energy, being air, is Thaumaterga, which is a wind god. And the way that the fixed air energy works is that Thaumaterga would use his harpies to carry out judgment. So he would judge, right? He would judge, and then he would have his harpies go and make sure the judgment was fulfilled. That is the fixed version of the energy. We're not in that energy. We're not in the fixed version of the energy. We're in the mutable version of the energy, which means when you get new information, you have to say, you know what, I think I was wrong about that. Let me change my mind. Or, I think I was misreading the situation. Let me change my mind about this. That's what this energy is. It is mutable. It is not fixed. Now, don't tell me what the zodiac say, because what these astrologers say, what they're talking about, they don't even approach astrology as if it's a temple of which you're going to address these various gods. So don't talk to me about what they're talking about. They don't know what they're talking about. Period. Okay? When I say cardinal energy, so let me explain this. When I say cardinal energy, I mean the beginning of the zodiac. Cardinal energy, Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer. That's fire, earth, air, water. That's cardinal energy. Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer. The fixed energy and also the cardinal energy is the land mass that was given to Japheth. Okay, so that's Japheth energy. Okay, the fixed energy is the energy that was given to Ham. Leo, Virgo, Libra, Scorpio. I have three of these. Leo, Virgo, and Scorpio. I have huge numbers of these signs in my chart, okay? But this is the fixed energy. This is the land that was given to Ham. Leo, Virgo, Libra, and Scorpio. Because it wasn't land, it was the constellation. The Bible is talking about Noah doling out rulership of the constellations. Didn't know that. Obviously, someone should have said that before me just now. Okay, so the mutable energy, this would be the land mass that was given to Shem, is Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces. This is the herald of change. What Shem did is he took what Japheth did and what Ham did and went in a different direction. That's what happened. And I'm going to do another video and explain this, but I need to get this out here because we're talking about mutable energy, which is Aquarius, which is Hera. In our current age, it's ruled by Hera, not by the Titans. The Titans were defeated, but just because again, just like with every story, the person who's defeated needs to be rehabilitated. Shout out to CryptodeMedici on that. Because I would have never thought about the process of rehabilitating these entities had he not suggested. So shout out to CryptodeMedici, shout out to Apollo for making it a priority that we rehabilitate these energies. The only ones who can rehabilitate the Titans is Shem, the Shemites. Not the Semites, okay? The Shemites. We're the only ones who can rehabilitate the primordial energy because we were here. Nobody else can do this but us, okay? So this is why it's important to understand what's going on here. We're going to do another set of videos on all these energies, but it's important because right now the moon is in Aquarius, okay? We're in the temple of Aquarius. Hera is in charge and she is yelling and screaming. Yelling and screaming. Why? Because we are out here, I'm out here saying we're in the age of Leo. Okay, so I retract that. We're not in the age of Leo. We are in the age of Aquarius. We are in the temple of Aquarius, ruled by Hera. And Hera is in charge. And so back to the mythology. So the only way that people were able to get Hera to change her mind was to acknowledge her presence as the queen and defend her ruthlessly, okay? Her son Aries defended her ruthlessly. She forgave Heracles. Now mind you, Heracles is dedicated to Hera. Hera, literally, like Cles is dedicated to Hera. That's literally what Heracles means. He was dedicated to Hera. She hated him because, again, it was a child born from Zeus with some other woman. So she hated him. And she actually only forgave him because when it came to the giantomancy, so it's not like the power of the Olympians hasn't been challenged. It was challenged by the giants. And they lost, okay? The giants lost and the Olympians still won. So this is why it's important. You have to defend that Hera energy to the death. Now this looks different for everyone, but I'm gonna give an example for myself because I have, like I said, Jupiter in Aquarius, and I have been wondering, what question have I been asking? Where's my money at? Why can't I get money? Why am I having such a problem with money? What is this? Well, first of all, I was neglecting Hera. So that was one of the major issues. But outside of that, I was entertaining other people's ideas on how I'm supposed to make money, which I really shouldn't have done. Not saying that all of my original thought processes on it was exactly correct, but my general feeling on it was correct. Like, for example, I should never have come to this school and got involved with these people. That's 100%. Now I have to live with this, okay? That I've come here, seen the horrors that I've seen, as far as, I don't like I'm very particular about how children are treated. And it's not that they're being treated bad or mistreated. That's not what I'm saying. But I have very high standards for interacting with children. And most of it is not wasting their time and not treating them like a paycheck. Okay. I work, many of you all know, I'm here to keep an eye on my kids. I don't care about the money. I take the money because they're required to give it to me, but I don't care about it. I'm not working here to earn a living, and I will never work to earn a living, okay? I never gave up that thought process, but I have let a lot of different ideas distract me from my goal. So, I am going to go back to doing reports, readings and stuff like that, because that is what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm supposed to make my money from doing reports, doing readings, writing books, stuff like that. Like, I'm supposed to, from the inside of me, right? I'm supposed to make my money from the inside of me. My Jupiter is in retrograde, so that's on the inside of the temple. I'm not outside of the temple trying to get in. I'm inside of the temple, and so I'm supposed to make my money from the inside of the temple. Okay, I understand that. Now, for people who have Aquarius placements, right? Like sun, moon, whatever. And also, if you have a twin, this is really, really important. You have to acknowledge Hera, like the mother. You can call her the queen mother, you can call her the mother. And you have to say to Hera, like, I can't do this for you. You have to say to her, what would you like me to do? What would you like me to do? You have to ask her. You have to enter the temple of Aquarius. Like, y'all already know how I say to do things. Before you go to sleep, you ask the question, how do I do this? How do I do this? Me, I'm like, take me to the temple of Hera. Like, take me to her temple. Let me talk to her messenger. Let me figure out what's going on. Like, I need to figure out how to resolve this. But you have to dedicate what you're doing to her, and she will fix it. She took out not Aphrodite, I'm sorry, Artemis with her own weapons, okay? Listen to me, she took out Artemis with her own weapons. What do we see happening? These people are being taken down with their own weapons. Nobody can explain why this is happening. And now I understand. It's Hera. It's Hera. She ain't playing. Now remember, last year, we tied ourselves to Pluto energy. We did a fast all the way until from August the 2nd, all the way until November the 19th, when Pluto entered Aquarius for the last time. And now it's in Aquarius. It's not going to be coming out of Aquarius. We fasted. So we tied ourselves to the temple of Aquarius, and also by default to Hera. And so we can't be tied to Hera and tied to her temple and then pretending like somebody else is helping us right now. No, 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 no. It is Hera, and it is the temple of Aquarius, and it is Pluto. So I am not going to be talking about no Age of Leo anymore. I'm going to leave that behind. And maybe it's not correct, but we have to deal with Hera right now, and this is what Hera wants. I don't know why. I can't tell you why, but I'm telling you, if you have Aquarius in your chart, if you're a twin, right now, you need to just say Hera, because guess what? Hera was really never seen. So if you look at Aquarius, right, this is a thing I wanted to point out. If you look at Aquarius, you see, in my chart, in the rectified tarot spiral, you have the magician with the sun and the moon, okay? Those are Hera's weapons. That is her energy. That's what she uses. She hates Apollo and Artemis, but she used their weapons against them. And her messenger, the magician, is what she did. So she is the herald of magic, right? And we shut down all of these wicked people and their wicked magic, but we have to replace it with something. Now, what does that mean? I don't know, because that just came out of my mouth. but it has to be replaced with something, or it has to be, again, restored to the way that it's supposed to be done. And I have no idea how we're supposed to do that. I don't know. But guess what? I'm going to ask Hera how she wants it to be done, and that's how it's going to be done. So again, if you're an Aquarius, you have Aquarius placements that you can't seem to figure out what the problem is. Like me, I was like, my Aquarius placements are giving me trouble. I don't understand what the issue is. Why can't I make this work? All of this stuff, right? If you're a twin, especially if you're a twin, you need to communicate with Hera and say that you're not working against her, because again, in the story, all of these entities was always working against her, and she always had to. I feel bad for her, honestly, because she first, I mean, think about what happened to her. You'll see here when you hear the video, but think about what happened to her. She was born, her father ate her. Like, you can't even be born in peace, right? Like, look at us. We couldn't even be born in peace. As soon as we were born, there was an issue. She was born, her father ate her. She never wanted to get married. She wanted to be a virgin. Zeus seduced her so that she would marry him. She marries him. He goes about philandering all over the place. Like, I feel bad for her because she never asked for this. She's always got to come in at the end and solve everything, like fix all the problems. Then she can't even be beautiful. Like the whole Trojan War, the whole thing is she offered Paris of Troy the most reasonable thing, which is to be politically savvy. And he turns it down because he's a doofus. This is not a smart person. And so he turns down the ability to be politically savvy, and she just now has to fight against the whole Troy situation. I feel bad for her. I feel bad for her because she was tricked even from the moment she was sent to this planet to assist us. Her father rejected her. Then her husband rejected her, and everybody's just acting like this is okay. This is suitable behavior. And honestly, it's really not. Like, it's not suitable. It's not acceptable. I don't understand why it's been allowed to go on like this for so long, but we have to put an end to it. But we can't put an end to it from outside the temple. We have to go inside the temple, devote ourselves to Hera. Let's say we have all of these various temples to go into. This is not the only one. This is just the one that matters right now because of what Pluto is doing. Pluto is now out of bounds. It's going to be out of bounds for however many days. These days, we have to make ourselves devoted to Hera and whatever it is she's trying to get done. She uses the sun and the moon as her magical tools of choice with her messenger, who is Iris, to get all this stuff done. This not hard. Whatever it is she wants, it's not hard. It's not going to be complicated. But we have to be about her business. Like, with all seriousness about her business. So I'm saying that because that's what I have to do. Like I said, I have a debilitated Jupiter. It's hurting in Aquarius. And I understand why, because it's Zeus, and Zeus is a philanderer, and it's like, how do you reconcile these two energies? And I don't know how to reconcile them. But whatever Hera wants, Hera should get. That's how I feel about it. If you've got a woman who, and Sagittarius is not right beside Aquarius. Aquarius is Sagittarius, and then Capricorn, and then Aquarius. So she don't even like be having no whole bunch of interminglings with freaking Zeus like that, because of what is Zeus. Zeus is also Jupiter. Jupiter goes through all the signs. He be interacting with everybody, okay? He don't discriminate. He be with same thing with the sun. Now I understand the sun. Apollo, he be with men, women, everybody. He do the same thing. He just like his daddy. And his daddy like his daddy, probably, more than likely. that's what Uranus was doing. So you just have this generational trauma within the Olympic and the Titan pantheons that we, as the mutable energy, as Shem, have to figure out how to make it go together. And like I said, I don't know. I don't have an answer. But I do know one thing. We cannot allow this to go on like this for much longer, because none of us, what does it say? If he had not shortened the days, we all would have died. And that's where we are right about now. If the days if the days are not dealt with properly, we're not going to make it. And that's literally where we are at this moment. So I hope this meets you all well. Shalom, peace and blessings, and we'll see you in the next video.